Today's episode is sponsored by Zegama Beach Records, who have recently released Disinformation Fix by Indiana Screamo Trailblazers Usurp Synapse for the very first time on deluxe double 12-inch vinyl. The package comes in a ridiculous 13-hole laser-cut gatefold jacket, and there's also 200 CDs available. But that's not all. On October 27th, they're releasing Coup d'Etat via 100 CDs, and Tomb Tree releases the last EP from Mississippi's She's Made from Suede, which is 5 tracks of fire screamo emo violence. Check that out at zegamabeachrecords.bandcamp.com. Hello, and welcome to Everything Remade, a podcast that I hope is about growth as much as it is about music. I'm Edie Quinn, and we have a great show lined up for you today. Before we get started, though, I'd like to remind you about our Patreon page at patreon.com/humanmachine, where you can go to sign up and support the show, get music sneak peeks, read zines, and so much more. That's patreon.com/humanmachine. And now, I'd like to play something for you. You're hearing the Lebron James of Girlfailures by True Respite, featuring my new pal Skipper on guitar. This song comes from their debut EP, which is not out yet, but you can find this on the Combustion Volume 6 compilation on Middleman Records. And make sure you stay tuned throughout the chat for a full track premiere of a brand new song.
I actually wasn't a big, I guess, because I did music as a kid. Like, I was in choir all the way through school. So obviously there are choral pieces that have had, like, big impacts on my life. But, like, in terms of, like, you know, music that more people would actually, like, be aware of, I think that the first song to, like, really have an impact on me, oh, gosh. I remember when I was, like, a teenager working my first jobs, um, and that's when I was first starting to, like, actually listen to music that wasn't just on the radio. Um, so God, what was it? I mean, honestly, it was probably some Radiohead. Um, I know that actually, oh no, I've got a better one. Mayonnaise by the Smashing Pumpkins. That is because I was getting into Smashing Pumpkins when I was in high school. Again, working just shitty fast food jobs. Um, and that's a song where, like, first time hearing it, I'm like, oh, this is changing something fundamentally. Even though I hate Billy Corgan and I think he's a terrible singer, this is one of the best songs ever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's it's funny, like, me with Smashing Pumpkins is kind of like there's a real weird trajectory for me because, like, I I had a friend who was really, really into Smashing Pumpkins, and she would be like, oh, they're the greatest, you know, and blah, blah, blah. But like at that time, like, you could not convince me to listen to anything that wasn't punk or screamo. So I was
Yeah.
like, just like, yeah, screw all that nonsense, you know? And then, like, later, through, like, just like the sheer ease of being able to get any music, like, downloaded, like, at any time, I was just like, well, I've heard, like, every screamo album available up until this point, and I've heard, like, every punk album available up to
Mhm.
so, like, let me check out some of this other stuff, like, grunge and stuff that I, you know, didn't check out at the time, and I actually was like, nah, Smashing Pumpkins is kind of sick. And
Mhm.
then I found out, like, oh no, Billy Corgan's a transphobe and like generally just like
Yeah.
a horrible person as well. And I was like, this happens so much with me where it's just like I don't I don't really fuck with the band, or I liked them but I didn't keep up with them, or
Yeah.
whatever. And then I get back into it and then I'm like, oh, these guys are really shitty actually people,
Yeah, these people are awful.
yeah, yeah. Because that was like
Yeah.
kind of my thing with Tool. Like I was like
Oh,
really
yeah.
young when Tool's first album came out, and I was like, "This is fucking sick," right? Like it's like one of the first things that I can remember hearing where the bass guitar was like a big part of the music. Like usually the
Yeah.
bass is just like an afterthought, and so I was like super into that, and like I just was like I said, I went through this thing where I was just like, at some point, it was just like, no, if it's not punk or if it's not screamo, like I don't care. It was years and years later, and then I sort of like, well, why don't you download some of these other Tool albums and you listen to them, and like they're like technically like very proficient, and like you're like, oh, there's really something here, and then you're like, oh, they suck. Like they're terrible.
Yeah.
Like this guy was literally talking about like he would make his wine have like pig blood or something in it to offend
Yeah.
vegans and Muslims. Like
Right. That's like, okay.
yeah, you're just like,
What a fucking loser, dude.
yeah, you could have just like never gave a shit about that, like at
Mhm.
all. And but you just got to be such an edge lord, like, and alienate like people that otherwise would
Mhm.
just be like,
That
you
would be
know,
like, "Oh, Tool is great," you
yeah,
know?
yeah, like no, like not all of it's for me, but like, there's definitely something there as far as like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Couple tracks.
yeah, and then it's just like, oh geez, like I can't even I can't even think about this anymore. But
Yeah. Yep.
yeah. So like, you know, what was it about that song specific? Was it the guitars like itself? What you said you didn't the vocals, weren't
Oh,
it for you?
the vocals still aren't it for me. I think that, Billy Corgan is good at many things, and singing is not one of them. But when I first listened, realistically, it could have been any Smashing Pumpkins song at this, but Mayonnaise is always the one that sticks out to me because it's just my favorite. But it's always been the guitars with that band, and honestly, a lot of the band, because Smashing Pumpkins is one of the first rock bands I remember like listening to and liking. It's like them and Radiohead, but it's not really what got me into playing guitar, because I'm like, oh, this is sick. The guitars sound amazing,
Hmm.
and these riffs are great. Um, but it's a little too what's it? I guess it's almost a little too noodly for me at times.
Hmm.
Which is very funny considering the bands that actually did get me into playing guitar are like way more noodly. Um, but it was mostly a guitar tone thing and a lyrics thing. That's really what hooked me
Yeah.
with them.
Yeah, I gotta say, like, you know, um, we're talking about like Billy Corgan's singing ability specifically, and one thing that I think about often, and this is the case with like with Radiohead, who also like it's like I didn't like Radiohead, and then I'm like Radiohead's pretty cool, and then like
And then
there's
the
there's
worst.
IOs, yeah, so it's like
Yeah.
okay, they suck, but it's like Smashing Pumpkins, Radiohead, Sonic Youth, Dinosaur
Mhm.
Jr., like all these bands, like, and I'm not putting Dinosaur Jr. and Sonic Youth in like the horrible people category. Although
No.
Thurston Moore I'll never forgive you for what you did to our queen.
I,
But
fuck, retweet. Yeah,
yeah,
I
but
hate that man.
yeah, it's like you know, you know. Anyway,
Hmm.
there's something that happened like in the sort of like post grunge era where with like bands like Creed and stuff, and it's like you can like Creed. I'm not here to disrespect Creed
Hmm.
or anything,
Couple
but
tracks.
something happened in that era where all the vocals became the same. They were
Yep.
all that like from like right in there, right? And
So
like
gruffy.
yeah, and so like what happened to that like there used to be just like you could just have a voice that's borderline unappealing and like
Hmm.
if your songs backed it up, like you're good. Like
Yeah.
Dinosaur Jr., like J Mass's vocal is like I'm often like there's no there's no way where I imagine that band being huge today. Like,
No.
you know, and the same thing with like there's a lot of bands like I used to feel this way about Hum too because like their
Mhm. Yep. Yep. Yep.
vocals are so counter to the music. But
Yeah.
now shoegaze is like sort of in that same thing, right? So like
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I was wrong about that one. Like but like Sonic Youth, like Smashing Pumpkins. Like was it just a lot of like, Talking Heads is like a big one too. Like it's like, I
Mm,
mean, David Byrne can like actually like really really sing and stuff, but like
he can sing his
his
ass off.
his main vocal is just so weird. It's like how did this become like one of the biggest bands ever? And
Right.
it's just it's just there's something that happened along the lines where it's just like things became so homogenized or
Yeah.
whatever, like like there's seldom a band that gets big because they take big risks. Like 100 Gex is obviously one of them I can think
Hmm.
of off the top of my head, but
Yeah.
like that era just seems like it's over like in a lot of respects, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
You can't break like that with a whatever vocal. You know,
Mhm.
you can break in the underground. You can have I guess big shoegaze money. Um but you're not gonna there's no way you're gonna be like Billboard top 100 shit, you know?
Mhm. Yeah, I don't know. It's just so interesting to me to like, you know, when I'm listening to like older stuff and I'm just like this shit would just not fly now. And we have like some of the most like interesting stuff there is out there because like
Mhm.
just because of the way that like people were always looking for like I mean, they're still looking for the next big thing, right? But they're like, they thought back then, it seems like they thought that that the originality was part of the appeal. And now
Yeah.
it's like, it's like they think that the familiarity is what's reliable.
Yeah. The
It's like, yeah,
Yeah, they think that that's old reliable
yeah,
when
yeah. It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
we're looking for the next Selena Gomez or whatever, not
Mhm.
like someone else that's like completely different, I don't
Mhm.
know. And or
Yeah,
like yeah, we're looking for the next like I don't even know like I don't even know like what mainstream emo bands are big anymore,
oh,
I'm not good at that, but
I mean, what's mainstream emo? I mean, I don't know. Like Mom Jeans is huge right now.
sure,
Uh,
sure.
like what is it? A lot of the emo revival stuff is having big moments, and like, listen, that's kind of what got me into emo a little bit. Um, but like that's all having a huge moment, and it kind of has been honestly like since the start of the pandemic, really.
Yeah. It's wild. I saw a video last night that actually had me feeling some kind of way where apparently it was Mineral played their last show.
Yeah,
And
fuck. That got me.
I remember I was living in Gainesville, Florida, many many years ago, and we went to a show, and we I have pretty much this exact same story with like five different bands that I'm like I've never seen, I'll never get to see, and I'm just like gutted. And the same thing happened to me in Gainesville with Texas is the Reason. But like we were just going
Mhm.
up to this house where there was this show, and we were like he heard this band sort of squealing out and just like finishing their set, and it's like, who was that? And it's like, oh, this band called Mineral. And so I missed Mineral by about like 10 minutes at a house
So
show in Gainesville, like in the 90s. And
it's
then
messed
like
up.
it's like this is their last show, and it's I mean we already thought it was their last show like a long time ago, but like this is probably actually was their last show, and it was like I don't know, it was like you know I
Right,
think
like,
like
oh, this is actually it.
yeah, and it was probably like the last song they played was probably like my favorite song, and I was like, yeah, I don't know, and it was like, yeah, I can see why this is like, I don't know, I don't, it's not anything like, it's not like it's not a judgment on how anybody feels about anything because I don't know them,
Mhm.
but it's like when when I put all that time into perspective for myself, and then I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, like no matter how much you love these songs or whatever, you would just be like, I don't want to sing that song that I wrote when I was 20 years old anymore, or
No,
whatever.
100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It's weird. Like, I don't know.
I mean, to be fair, like, there are even songs that, like, I wrote just for demo purposes, like, even just, like, 5 years ago, and I'm like, "Jesus Christ, what a melodramatic teenager I was." Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, yeah. I saw some, I think it was the band, I think it was the band Greet Death, and they were talking about
Yep.
like they don't want to play certain material anymore because they're like, I just legit don't feel that way, and also why would I want to sing a song about how I wanted to like harm myself? Like why would I want
Yeah.
to continue singing that? And it's like I like respect that so much, and it's like but I think they also said like, why does anybody want to hear that? And like, there was one part about it, and I'm maybe misquoting them, and if I am, I apologize. But there was one part of it that I did disagree with, which is like the why would anybody aspect of it, because
Yeah.
like, there are those instances where we're singing about these things and they're horrible to us, and it's totally understandable why we would not want to relive that personally all the time, but I can still understand how other people want to hear that, or because like the reason why we connected with it in the first place is because we didn't feel so alone in that
Mhm.
anymore, you know. And so I don't know, that's in like, I see both sides of that, and yeah, but it's, I mean, I don't know, I'm getting like way in my head
No,
about
that
all this
makes sense.
stuff,
Cause
but yeah,
no,
it's
no, that's
just
so okay. No, because I often think the same thing. It's like, why would anyone wanna hear this melodramatic bullshit? But, like, also, hey, sometimes it's just what someone's going through, and they just need to hear it
yeah,
to be like, "Oh, no, I'm not, like, I'm not tweaking about this. This is normal."
yeah, yeah. And art is art in general is constant. Like, why would anybody else want to hear this? But like, you always have to be like, am I making the thing that I want to make?
Yeah. If you're
Because
not
like, yeah, because like whether whether that feels like self-serving or whatever, and it is, like whether it feels that way or not, it's like if you're not making it for yourself first, then how could you expect anybody else to like fuck with it, you know?
Right?
So
Like if you don't enjoy the shit you're doing, then you shouldn't be doing it. You should be doing something else.
yeah, yeah, it's yeah, I don't know it. So it's yeah, it's always that thing where it's like, you know, like yeah, why would it like I don't know. I made an experimental album and I was like, I want to make this because I want to make it. And like I thought I'll probably listen to this once, like when it's totally done, just so I can be
Mhm.
like, okay, cool. Like I did a good job. And I didn't think like I was like, even if like I think I did a good job, I probably won't listen to this like after the fact
Yeah.
because of the nature of it. But I was wrong about that. But I'm still when I listen to it, I'm like, why would anybody else like
Yeah.
why would
Yeah,
anybody else sit through this, you know? But
yeah, like holy shit, what a music. And then, if someone else were to listen to this, they'd be like, "Oh, this is horrendous."
yeah, like why is there 8 minutes of like feedback and guitar and like is that birds? I don't
Right?
like what is this?
I
But
mean, well, that's just rock and roll.
yeah, I mean,
That's just punk rock, baby.
hey, we're doing it because it felt good and if
It felt natural.
yeah, if you like it and you come back to it, if you turn it off in the middle, that's your prerogative. But yeah.
Mhm.
Um so like you said that wasn't the stuff that made you want to play guitar. So what was it that got you there as far as that
Yeah.
goes?
So we started there. And again, who knows, maybe I'm misremembering. My memory is like chronically awful. Like it the worst memory known to man, maybe. But um what really got me into playing guitar, so funnily enough, because you mentioned Sonic Youth earlier, um the first song I ever learned on guitar was 100% by Sonic Youth. Like, because I was just in a big Sonic Youth phase, and I was like, you know what? I've been playing bass for about a year because that's how I got my start. Because some friends wanted to start a band in high school, and I was listening to some punk stuff at the time. Just a lot of pop punk, like Green Day, stuff like that. Um, but then I was like, okay, I'm listening to Sonic Youth. I want to learn how to actually play guitar. Let's start with a song where four of the strings are tuned the exact same. You know, like let's start with the easiest stuff possible. Um, but Sonic Youth was a big band for me getting started. Fuck Thurston Moore till I die. But that's band number one. And then honestly, around that same time, like, cause I didn't even I started playing bass my junior year of high school, so it's only been like what 6 years at this point. So guitar was a year after that, my senior year, and then when I was getting into playing guitar, it was Sonic Youth and then like twinkly emo stuff. So bands that come to mind, like American Football is a big one, just because they're from Illinois. Um, but also like Tiny Moving Parts a little bit, and then Toe. Toe was a big band, but Toe, American Football, and Sonic Youth are like the big three.
Yeah. Um
Mhm.
yeah, it's weird like I didn't even know like I've been listening to Sonic Youth like all my life like it feels like and I'm not like I don't listen to it like religiously. I don't know like all the names of the songs and stuff. When they
Mhm.
come on, I'm like, yes, I know this song. Um,
Mhm.
but I didn't even know until I got sick like a year and a half ago, and I was just like delusional, and I couldn't sleep, and I couldn't even lay down because I was in so much pain, and I was just like watching all these documentaries and stuff on YouTube. And I
Mhm.
didn't even know after listening to this band for like, more of my life than not, that they like didn't know how to like tune their guitars and stuff. And
No.
they just like did did practically played like most of the songs in like different tunings and stuff because they just didn't know like what they were doing, and they were just like, well, it sounds cool if we do this. And
Yeah,
like,
it sounds awesome if I tune two of the strings a half step apart. Like
yeah, like, and I was just, yeah, I don't, knowing like what you know at this point, it's almost like you're almost like, it would have been easier probably for them to just play these songs like in on a regular tuning
on a
and just like
standard.
and but I don't know, I haven't ever put that to the test or anything, but
Yeah.
like when you just like you like and
I
then
I
there
will say a lot of those Sonic Youth songs are specific to the tuning. Like
yeah, it's just
I
like
have a hard time playing that stuff in standard.
yeah. I mean, there was stuff that I was seeing in this documentary where they were like, there were some songs that we couldn't even play again because we didn't
Mhm.
remember, and like
Yup.
eventually, obviously, they probably like got there, like with the help of people who could pick out things by ear or what, you know what I mean? But like,
Yeah.
I can't remember what album I was talking about, but it was one of their first albums. They were like, after we recorded this, we couldn't play any of the songs again for like however long it was because they just didn't know.
Right.
They didn't remember like what they were doing, like how they tuned things or, you know, like
Mhm.
which is such a wild like just overall that's such a wild thought
It's
process to
nuts.
have like that this band where in at least in theory, none of them could really play their instruments. They had a record deal where
Yup.
somebody put them in a studio where they wrote the songs like on the spot, having no
Yeah.
idea what
And
they're doing, and then afterwards could not even play the songs anymore because they were like, we didn't know what we were doing,
yeah,
and they made something really cool, and you're just like, what the fuck,
they
like,
they made some of the most awesome shit and they didn't know how to play it.
yeah,
They were like, "Okay, so now we're never gonna play this live because we just don't remember."
yeah, yeah. We have to get, which is I won't say anybody's names or anything because I don't know if this is supposed to be a thing. But I had like a friend of mine who teaches guitar. She posted something where she's talking about like one of her guitar idols hit her up because he was like essentially like, I don't remember how to play these songs and I need like, or it was like something to do with like the songs were in different tunings and could she teach him how to play his own songs in one tuning or
Yeah.
whatever. And it's like that had to basically happen with Sonic Youth at some point. Somebody had to be
Mhm.
like, you know well, it kind of sounds like you all were doing this, so like here's how you play
Yes.
your songs, but it's,
Yeah.
I don't know,
Yeah.
it's
Here's
wild.
how I think you play your song.
Yeah, yeah. Um, and I mean, I don't know, like anybody who hasn't anybody who hasn't played one of their songs in, several years probably experiences that to some degree, even if you
Right?
are just using like standard tuning, you're like, wait, was I hitting that one here or was I hitting that one up there? And like, what's that other note that what's that
Yeah.
other spice that's in there, But
Yeah. What's the sauce? What's the sauce on that?
yeah, yeah. Um, so yeah, I didn't know what you were gonna, I was when you were like talking about like noodly, I was like, is this about to talk about like Fall of Troy or like Mars
Oh, I mean,
Volta or something, like, but
love Fall of Troy. Like
yeah,
I didn't get till into Fall of Troy till a few years after that
yeah.
when
I
I was,
mean,
a working adult.
yeah. I don't. I'm still not trying to play that. Like, don't get me wrong.
Yup.
Like, um, there's a there is a point where like um playing guitar like it crosses a threshold like where it becomes like more cerebral than I like
Mhm.
than just like instinctive or whatever. And I'm like,
Right.
I'm just like, no, I'm good. I'm good. I'm glad that y'all can do that. That's amazing. But like, you
I,
know,
I I don't like thinking that hard when I have to play guitar. It's like, listen, if it's not something I would do instinctively, uh, it's it's kind of just past me already.
yeah.
Like if I can't just have my chugs and my panic chords, you know,
I
if
mean, there are times when some I will hear something and it will egg me until
I,
I sit there and I work it out. But like as far as like to
oh yeah,
to play somebody else's song or something, I'm like, nah, I'm
100%.
yeah, I'm not
Yeah,
doing the
I'm
mental
s-
gymnastics to like get there, you know.
yeah, I'm saying all this about like, oh, I would never do anything that isn't instinctual or chugs, but like here I am. There's true respite shit that isn't even out that I'm writing two-handed tapping parts for. Like it's I I'm saying all this that I wouldn't do it and then I do it.
And then yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's I don't know, it's it's fun because like, you know, you do like you do like challenge yourself and then like you move past these like goalposts or whatever and you're like, "Oh, like that was a thing that was difficult for me at one point,"
Mhm.
you know? So it's like there's
Oh
always
yeah.
like a new, you know, threshold or whatever, but like, you know, as far it's just I don't know. It's one of those things like um we do these like covers every year for this compilation that I do, and like it's one of those things where if I hear something and I'm like, yeah, I'm not learning that, you know, like that
Yeah,
sounds,
I'm not learning
yeah,
that
yeah.
bullshit.
Let's go for you know this is supposed to be fun. This isn't supposed to like you know, I'm not trying to like elevate my playing by like I'm not well really what it translates to is I'm not trying to stress myself out. Like I want
Right?
to
Like it's
have
a cover.
fun. Yeah, yeah,
I'm trying to have fun and
yeah,
jam on some songs that I like with my friends.
yeah. And I mean, I fully respect like people that that are like they go into full like songwriting mode in for a cover song. Like I
Mhm.
respect that, but for me it's like I I want it to be like you just showed up and we just played the song, you know?
Yeah.
Like I don't like it's supposed to be that level of like fun. It's just like you showed up and we
Right.
played the song and like over the years the number of them that we've done, it's like some of them they came more naturally and that's like obviously the ones that people are like, "Wow, you know, this one's great." And then the other ones then no one says that and you're like, "Oh, we ate it a little bit. Okay." Yeah, you know,
Mhm.
like that one is
Yeah.
not that good, but like it's like I said, you know, like you know, well, I'm just trying to have fun. Like whether,
Mhm.
you know, it's like writing your own songs or
I literally just wanna have
yeah,
fun and
yeah.
do it.
That's
E
all.
even if it doesn't land great, but, like, listen, who cares? You're gonna listen to True Respite cover Weekend Nachos. It's fine. Like,
Nice. I should have got y'all should have recorded that one.
we so it's this was actually funnily enough, this is literally a thought that I just had today. I didn't bring it up to the girls at all. Uh, the Weekend Nachos cover is just something that I'm like, we should do this in the future, and I
Oh,
should bring
okay.
this up to
Okay.
them.
So you're
I'm scheming. I'm
you're
scheming right
manifesting
now.
that like
Yeah.
right now. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm manifesting right now live on the air. So
Well,
it
pre-recorded on the air. Yeah.
yeah, mhm.
Uh,
Yeah, of course, of course.
yeah.
N
This will come out like this will come out like probably the week of Halloween or something. So y'all
Awesome.
got like 2 days as of this airs to knock that out and then get it back to me.
Yeah, you know what? Well, I guess I'm going to Indiana. Guess I'm going to
I think really at the end of the day, you sum it all up. You are a failure. Your life's work is a failure. And you'll be remembered as a bad person. Don't you think you owe me an apology?
So how long, like, are you playing guitar, sort of like by yourself before you start thinking, hey, I want to, like, you said you were playing bass in a band at some point,
Yeah.
like kind of immediately?
Yeah, so the timeline was my friends wanted to start a band, and I was like, "Hey, I want to be involved in this. What can I do?" And they're like, "Well, we need a bass player." And I'm like, "Cool, never played bass in my life. I don't own a bass. Can I borrow one?" And one of them was just like, "Yeah, sure, I've got one. You can like borrow my dad's my dad's Ibanez sound gear." And I'm like, "Cool, okay, let's do this." The so that's how it got started there. And then with guitar, the idea was kind of always to eventually do something with it. um so it just, it wasn't right away. It took me probably about a year and a half maybe before I was like, okay, I can play in a room with people. um I graduated high school, I went off to college, and then dropped out like 2 months in, and then I went home and I was like, "Okay, I could probably be in a band, just some shitty basement punk band with some friends." Because we're all home for school anyway. It's during the height of the pandemic. Um, so let's just jam in our free time. Um, so I mean, year and a half in, I was in another band playing guitar. Um, that band has put something out, but don't talk about it ever, and I have never revealed what it is because I'm like, oh, this sucks. I,
Okay, that's
I
fair. Yeah.
yeah. But the goal was always to play guitar in a band. And then after that, it did take me a little while, probably another year and a half, to warm up to that idea again. And then I was jamming with a couple friends of mine for like another year or so, but that never went anywhere. And then I guess True Respite's really just like my first actual band, like where we've gigged and recorded stuff.
Yeah.
Hmm.
What excuse me. What Yeah, I'm lucky that I my my big, like, oh, I hope nobody ever hears this. Like, that stuff is like pre-internet. Cuz
Uh huh.
so
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about that. But and anybody who might have access to any of that, like, definitely does not listen to this. So just,
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
just because, like, yeah, I don't know. The people that I knew, like, well, a lot of the people that I still do know, a couple people from back then that are actually cool, but a lot of the people that I knew back then, they're not they're not great people anymore. You know, like
Yeah, not
stuff
not the
happened.
greatest people to be around.
Yeah, so they're not listening to this, but it's yeah, it's 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 weird. It's weird when you, like, you know, have this, like, sort of turning point where you're like, oh, then this is when I started doing stuff that I became proud of. But, like, you know, luckily for
Hmm.
you, it was seemed pretty quick.
Yeah.
So the very first show you played ever was with True Respite.
Uh, Not ever. So 'cause it was still this year actually, funnily enough. But it was
It was the other
so
thing.
I yeah, the other thing.
Okay.
What is it? Yeah. So I'll actually, I mean, I can talk about that. So it's because that was my I was never even supposed to play that show. Like, Jane and Pebbles, who I love very dearly, they're like solo projects. Were both billed to play that show. And I was just friends with the people that were booking it, and and I was already friends with Jane at that time, but she was like, "Hey, you should ask Skipper to do a musical project and get on this bill." Um, and I had been writing the songs for that other thing since last summer. But I just randomly got added to the group chat and they were like, "Hey, you're hopping on this show as a solo project." And I'm like, "Okay, let me find a drummer like right now so I can rehearse these songs over the next 2 months." But that was the Farm Upstate
Oh,
under a
okay.
different name at the time. Yeah. That was the first show I ever played. That was July of this year. And then second show ever was the debut True Respite show.
Okay. So
Hmm.
first show ever, and you're playing songs that, like, you'd never really played with anyone else before, and it was just like, hey, guess what, you're doing this thing. Like, what was that like,
Yeah.
as far as, like, was it like, I mean, obviously you played more shows after that, but, like, was it just like, holy shit, why did I agree to this? Or, like, was it just things came together
It,
and it was fun?
oh, it was, I mean, for sure a little bit of both.
Okay.
Um, initially at the start, it was because I was like, "Hey, I'm not even gonna worry about a bass player." The way I write guitar parts, or at least how I was when I wrote those songs, was very much like, you know, this band doesn't need a second guitarist. This band doesn't even really need a bassist, and so it can just be a two-piece thing. So if I find a drummer, which I did, shout out Ben, who is no longer a part of that band. Not because he's awful. He's just, he doesn't like screamo.
Okay,
But
fair.
so I finding a drummer was the hard part, and then it was just running the songs over and over, finalizing lyrics, and then just doing it. Like it, but like doing it was probably the most fun I had, like in a long time doing music. Because I'm here with all of my friends, and I'm playing to just I'm playing in a random basement in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and this is my first show ever. What do you mean? Like it was a great time.
Yeah, that's wild. Just how far was that from you?
That's because I'm up in the like Chicago burbs area, so it's like I think that was about an 8 hour drive.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I was like, Ben, can we take your truck? And he was like, yeah, that's fine, sure, awesome. We'll take my truck. I'll do all the driving. I got to sit in that passenger seat like a goddamn baby and do nothing. It was great. Um, so it was far drive, but honestly, like I've driven further for less. I've driven further just to go to shows.
Yeah. I don't.
Hmm.
I don't. I mean, I don't know that I've ever like. I don't know. I don't think I've ever driven that far to just to go for a show, but I have like I have driven from Indiana to like New Jersey to play one show and then drive all the way
Yeah.
back like right after the show. So yeah, it's
Yeah,
not
that's
yeah.
effectively what this was. We just got to spend the night there too, which thank God we didn't drive back right after.
Yeah, I don't know. We got to we got asked to play the last capacity show, which if anybody who's
Mm,
been paying attention, that was not the last capacity show. They've played a couple of shows over the summer, but we got asked to play the last capacity show, and we were like, yeah, of course we're gonna play, but the guitar player at the time was like, I have to be back the next day, and it was like a I don't know 14 or 15 hour drive or something
oh yeah,
from here to wherever we were going in New Jersey, like New Brunswick, I guess.
yeah,
And yeah, we drove there. We played a show. We almost got like electrocuted. Uh,
awesome.
and then we got in the car and drove all the way back. And yeah, I didn't have to drive at all that time, but it was like I don't remember what the car was. It was like a small car, and there was three of us, and
We'll say it was a Camry or something.
it was something to that effect. It was something that small, and
Yeah.
we were just like crammed in there, like 16 hours there and
Hmm.
16 hours back, and I don't know. It was a great time though.
Oh,
I'll do it
absolutely.
again. Like I was pretty safe from being electrocuted. There was like water on the floor, and there was like
Uh,
just there was a point where like somebody's guitar pedals were like right next to this water and they didn't notice, and like but I was playing drums at the time, so like you know
yeah.
I was
I get to ignore this. This is
yeah, I
great.
mean I just the microphone was in front of me, so I'm just like don't actually touch it just in case,
Yeah.
but other than that, yeah, I mean no amplification problems for me.
Awesome.
But yeah, no, it is a lot of fun. How did you end up playing in True Respite then? Like, seeing as like you don't live here, was it like Jane and you and other members, like were you all sharing files back and forth with one another, and then it's like, hey, this can be a band, like, or
Hmm.
like how did all this happen?
So I mean honestly, I think it's better to just start off rip because like Jane and I met earlier this year, kind of around the time of ZBR, um, and we only met because I had posted like on my Instagram or something. I was just like, hey, I can't go to ZBR. Does someone want to buy my ticket? And she was like, I think you should come. I'll pay you to show up, and I would like you to, if you're doing music, I would like you to finish one of your demos. Um, so I can hear what you're doing. And I was like, okay, fine, I'll do all that. I'll go to ZBR because you're paying me to go to ZBR. uh, and funnily enough, the demo I sent her was one of the first Farm Up State songs. Um, and so that's kind of what got the ball rolling, got us put on that show. In terms of how I met Pebble, the primary vocalist of True Respite, um, so she was booked to play that show as well, down in Murfreesboro, um, and she had a Chicago show like 2 days prior. So I was like, I went straight from the last Farm Upstate practice before that show straight up to the Chicago show, and I was like, hey, I'm Skipper. We're playing this show together in like 2 days, and she's like, oh shit, nice to meet you. Um, and I guess I just made a good first impression based off that guitar playing, but um the three of us kind of all hit it off as friends. Um, and then the drummer of True Respite, AJ, was playing for Jane's solo project. Um, so we kind of all became acquainted there, became good friends. Um, and then I think it was like late July or early August, so a few weeks into knowing, everyone knowing each other. Pebble texts us and is like, "Hey, I got asked if I wanted to play this Girls Rituals show in Knoxville. However, I don't really want to do it, and I would kind of like an excuse to start a band with you guys. Are y'all down?" And I was like, I mean, yeah, sure, I'll do it. Why the hell not? We'll do another last minute thing, except I have to write all the songs in this time frame now. So we just Pebble just asked the question. I was like, okay, I'll start writing, and then we knocked out all the songs, just sending Google Drive links back and forth over the course of like 3 weeks.
Okay. And then, like, so once it's like, here's the songs, did, like, I've only heard one of the songs so far. Like,
Mm-hmm.
did you, like, I think excuse me, I heard there was like 5 songs. So, like, did you get
Yes.
together and record all 5 songs, or was it like you got together and recorded one, got together and recorded another? Like, how did y'all go from
Oh yeah.
okay, here are the songs to like now
To
you
to
have
now
some
they're
songs?
recorded.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. So we just wrote we wrote all the songs prior to that show. We had one practice the night before. Um and then we recorded and then we drove so we played so one practice, go play the show, drove home, had a day off, and then just recorded all 5 songs in a day.
Okay.
So yeah, the songs are done. It's just a mixing and mastering thing, which
Yeah.
is something I'm gonna shake my fist at Jane about. That's
Is there a lot of like sort of um revisions? Is that what's like happening? Is it a lot of like, oh well, like now this sounds perfect except there's like this one thing, and so there's just a lot of like, because you all can't be in the same
yeah.
room to sort of, yeah.
So truthfully, I'm not as involved in the mixing process as I should be, to be fair. But it's just honestly, a lot of the revisions were during the songwriting process. Mixing, it's just a matter of everyone's very busy. Um, so like even if like for example, let's say Jane were to knock out an initial mix, um, it's like, oh, I have a full time job and I'm always doing things. So I may not get around to listening to that initial mix for a couple days. So it's just a everyone being busy thing.
Yeah.
Hmm.
This isn't a dig at you at whatsoever, but a pet peeve of mine is like, I I I'll 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 be down here for like days at a time, like just slugging away at a mix or whatever,
Yup.
and I'll email it to my collaborators. And finally, after a couple days, I'm like, "Well, what did you think?" And they're like, "I still haven't got a chance to listen to it yet." And I'm like,
Right.
literally
I'd be
fuming.
grinding.
I'm
I
fuming. I'm like, oh my god, I
Yeah.
didn't
Come
I didn't
on.
sleep for like 3 days because I'm like down here and I'm like, this has to be perfect. You know,
This has to be
like
perfect because I don't want to do another fucking revision
it's
ever.
like whatever the like straight edge equivalent of like the cigarette ash hanging, like
Yep.
fully hanging off, and like whatever the equivalent of that is, like that's me with my eyes taped open, and I'm like, and then
Mhm.
somebody's like, oh, I haven't had a chance to listen to it yet, and I'm like, that's
I'm
cool.
hey, that's so sick and awesome. Mhm. Oh,
But I mean,
oh,
that's how it is,
yeah,
like,
that's just punk rock. That's just rock and roll,
yeah,
baby.
yeah. Yeah, I'm real excited to hear the rest of it. I really enjoy, the one song that is out there, and
Mhm.
uh I'm always like stoked to have another like good band in Indiana, even if everyone is not from Indiana. I claim
Huh?
them as an Indiana band if there's one member at least. Um
Yeah.
but yeah, as
we're
far as like
50% Hoosiers.
50,
We're honorable.
okay, okay. I wasn't gonna go as far as using the term Hoosier. That is that's
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Fine.
no,
I'm
it's a,
getting
like
canceled.
that's a weird one for me. I don't know why that one. It doesn't bother me. I'm just like I just don't.
It's a weird word.
Yeah, I don't get it. You know, I'm like, okay, like we love basketball. I don't know,
Yeah.
because that's the only context I have for that. Before I lived here, was like there was a movie about
Yep.
basketball. You know,
Yeah. And I mean, listen, we love basketball. The girls in True Respite love basketball.
yeah.
And they're totally not gonna disagree with me saying that.
Comer Regalia's drummer Jason, he lives in Washington, and he's like, Pacers are on fire this year. I'm like, I would not know. Like,
Hey, and they were. And that's the thing, they were.
yeah, and I mean, like he's like, how do you live in Indiana and you don't love basketball, the Pacers, you know, blah blah blah. And I'm like, I just don't like. When I
It's
was
just not my
little,
jam.
like when I was little, I used to watch sports and stuff because like, uh, one of my best friends was one of my cousins, and he loved sports, and like,
Mhm.
you know, and so that used to be a thing for me, and it's just not been like ever since I got a skateboard when I was like 10 years old. I was like, you know,
Yeah, who needs the rest of this? Skateboarding is
forget all
awesome,
of this. Like, I can just get on this thing and do whatever I want, you know?
right?
But yeah, so as far as like, you know, the state of the band, like now that the recording is more or less done, like what are your plans as far as after release goes? Like, are you all trying to do like tours on top of that, or just like, you know, the
Yeah.
occasional one-offs and stuff? Or
Yeah, because I mean, getting us all in a room is fairly annoying just because like for example, AJ's a full-time student and Pebble is basically touring all year round for her solo project. Not that I'm dissing these people. I love these people very much. But um it's kind of it's a little difficult to get us all in one room, but planning stuff around like school schedules and tour schedules has made it fairly easy. We have plan is to have the EP out within the month by November, and we are we do have a couple, I guess you can call them release shows, uh, getting set up, and they're announced at this point. I fully forgot that we announced them. But we have a show in Indianapolis like the day before Thanksgiving, and then we're playing. Actually, funnily enough, in that same basement in Murfreesboro, where we all played together for the first time. We're playing there again on Black Friday. So we have like just a couple release shows, and then planning future material. I know we're going in to record like two more songs for whatever the next thing is. What if it's a split or if it's an EP? Not 100% sure. But we're going in to record a couple songs in December, and then maybe hoping for something around March. Maybe booking a little weekender. We'll see.
awesome. And you've mentioned the farm upstate a couple times, and that was, you know, your more or less solo thing. Um, what's the state of that project now? Like, are you just like, well, I've got some songs and I'm figuring out how I want to get them recorded and get them out into the world, or has that
Mhm.
been put on pause due to True Respite? Like, where are you at with that project?
Yeah. So funnel. So what is it? Uh, actually, if because that band is because I've got some other girls I'm playing those songs with now. The funniest part is that they are also both from the same area as Jane and AJ. They're from Indiana, so it's literally just a matter of me being able to get out there and practice with them. That is, as time goes on, though, that is becoming more of like a band and not a solo project, which is nice.
Hmm.
Um, because I love singing, I really do. I'm not particularly great at it anymore, but I don't want to do it all the time. There are times where I just want to riff. And so one of the other girls participate in that, Val, Love Her to Death. They're gonna be doing some vocals and writing on some of the other songs. But I think there's like we're looking at like 5 or 6 songs written. And it's just a matter of when I can get out there to finish, writing them and get them recorded with them.
Yeah. Yeah. Is it like some of it is sort of done the way you were, talking before, where you're sharing files and stuff, but to actually like glue everything down and like get everything set, you have to sort of all be able to run them and things like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot more going on with like time signature changes and tempo shifts in that stuff than the true respite material. There's a lot more going on with the guitar parts. It's not just riffing. I'll go from a finger picking section straight into a breakdown I stole from Slayer, you know? Like
Hmm.
it's it's more involved. So I need to it benefits me greatly to get in the room with them.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Mhm.
some people are just, some people that's just like the way they process things anyway, So, like,
Mhm.
yeah, I have people that I collaborate with often where it's just like, I can literally just get something from them, or I can literally just hand something to them, and we can make a whole thing without even like revising one another or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And then there's other people where that just doesn't, that doesn't work. And like
Mhm.
it'll be like, well, can I come up there and like, and we'll do this together, and
Yeah.
that's also like, I don't know, like I've never taken stock of like what I think that any of the situations work as well for me personally as any of the others. Um, but yeah, there's a different like
Mhm.
there's a different
It's
set of rules, like for when you're doing something in the same room as opposed to
Yep.
when you're doing something, you know, online or whatever. Different set of skills you need to like communicate, do the communication and all that too. But
Yeah.
yeah,
100%. I
yeah.
I think it's part of it is that I think I'm a little closer to it, you know? I Because when I was writing those songs, it's like, "Oh, this is, like, the worst time to be me, and I need to do this."
Hmm.
I Whereas with the True Respite, the first EP stuff, it's like, "Oh, I am doing this because I need to turn around instrumentals now." Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, I'm just more connected to it, and so I feel like I need to be more involved and in person with the whole creative process.
Yeah. Well, it also, a lot of times the function like follows the form as well. Like where,
Mhm.
if you're like, we just want to be, we just want like we're gonna get up on a stage and we're just gonna like rip for like 20
Yeah.
minutes, and so you're like, okay, that's no problem. We got like, I gotta do what? I gotta come up with 5 songs, so
Yeah.
I gotta write like 4 or 5 parts per song. Like I gotta make them go a set amount of times each, and then bang, there you go. As opposed to
Yeah.
like other things where it can be like, oh no, this is gonna get a little weird. This is gonna get a little like,
Yeah,
uh,
this is gonna get a little experimental for
yeah,
sure.
yeah, or like just different like genres or even subgenres of things can like the you can you can experiment with like what might be considered like counterintuitive and stuff, and so like you really need to be able to communicate like, hey, this is going to do things that might not seem right, but I promise you it's going to work, you know? And
Yeah,
like,
but I promise you it's gonna rip.
yeah, sometimes you really have to be like in the same room to be like, now, like, does this make sense now? You know, kind of thing.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah, that's how it was for some of the True Respite stuff, and I'm thinking ahead to Farm Upstate stuff, and I'm like, oh yeah, there's definitely a 14-minute long song that is gonna need to be worked out in the room.
yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, I mean the couple of instances that I've had where it's something like that. Like I it's so weird like there's there's parts where I've done something like by myself where I'm like um I look back now and I'm like I don't I don't even know why that works. Like like I
Oh,
don't I don't know why that works. Like I didn't plan that at all, you know.
yeah,
And
that was unexpected,
yeah,
but it
yeah.
happened.
But then there's the opposite as well, where it's just like I had this completely planned, and it didn't work how I thought it would. Like it might work in this other way, but it didn't. You know, like I don't know. It can go either way, right?
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, that sounds. What do you? How would you describe the farm upstate? Like as far as like if you were gonna throw a couple bands in a blender, like what would that be?
A couple bands in the blender. Um, I'm really trying to think of
You said
what I.
you threw Slayer out there, but then you're talking
This
about
is
like
true.
twinkling
Yeah,
parts. So it's like
yeah,
it's hard to, you
yeah.
know.
You know, actually, and I'm going to say this because it's on the mind right now, especially it's a recency thing, but there's definitely some like Lord Snow parts in there for sure.
Oh, okay.
Only bring them up because I saw them last night and got my ass handed to me.
Yeah.
Um, but it's like there's some Lord Snow parts for sure. I Slayer was a big thing. There was when I was writing it, there was like a week where all I was doing was listening to Slayer, and it's like, you know what? And actually, funnily enough, this was a suggestion from Ben, the original drummer. He was like, "What if there was a breakdown in this song?" And I'm like, "You know what? Yeah, we'll throw something in there. I'll throw a Slayer part." Um, but yeah, Lord Snow Slayer, and then I Hate Sex has always been a big band for me. Um, Funnily enough, at that show, the first Farm Upstate show and the first True Respite show, we covered San Francisco, and that probably won't happen again. But maybe we should have recorded it. But um, those are kind of the big three bands I can think of off the top of my head. Um, Yeah, I mean, funnily enough, there's a lot of it too that pulls from like indie rock. Like one of my favorite bands for a very long time was Snail Mail, and Lindsey Jordan has always been a very influential guitar player for me. Um, and so a lot, especially some of the finger picking stuff or the softer moments in those songs, are basically just doing what she does, except it's in minor instead of major. Like it's ripping indie rock finger picking riffs.
Well, it sounds awesome. I hope you're able to, get that together and out into the world sooner
Hmm.
rather than later. But yeah, it sounds like you got your work cut out for you as far as, getting everyone together and being able to do
Yeah.
that. Um, well, yeah, I've had a great time chatting with you. But I try to keep these around an hour, which is about where we're at now. But
Oh my gosh.
before we take off, is there anything that we didn't chat about that you wanted to chat about?
Um. mm, you know what? I mean, listen. I will keep it brief, and I gotta give my credit where credit is due. I wouldn't be doing this at all. Like getting involved in the local scene, or probably even playing in True Respite or the Farm Upstate. I wouldn't be doing any of that without a couple bands from like the Milwaukee, Chicago area. So like Riot Nine, Tear Garden Collective, Summer, a No Hitter. Like those are all like dear friends, or just like people I've met in passing. But like they have all like they're the reason I'm here doing this is I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't go to see them in basements and I was like, oh, this is awesome and sick, and I should be doing this. So I have to give credit where it's due. That's kind of the only thing I can think of off the top of my head. I love all those people so much. I love living in the Midwest and being a part of this scene.
And that was my conversation with Skipper. Thank you so much, Skipper, for taking the time to chat with me. Thanks to all of y'all for listening wherever you are as well. Until next time, take care and do good things.